nalipa tax na hata siwezi afford kupanda taxi. Kwa banki sina kakitu, siwezi afford hata shati. Maji nanywa ya kanjo yako ya chupa za mapambo. Nalipia mtoto wako elimu ya bure ya juu. Unanipa ya bure lakini ya utu. Oh no. So nitapata wapi majibu ya maswali? Mahindi lienda wapi? Pia shilingi ya shule za msingi. Paulo mtume, mbona jela usimtume? Lazima abuniwe tume. Lazima abuniwe tume. Mapenzi ndizo hali mabasa tulificha kwa kabati. Kazi kwa vijana, pesa kwa wazee. Tulimangamanga mpaka za maded I say. Lazima abuniwe tume. Lazima abuniwe tume. Oh. Sheria. Oh. Sheria. Sheria. Fuata. Sheria. Sheria. Oh, oh. Sheria. Yeah, yeah. Fuata. Sheria. 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 Oh, oh. Fuata. Sheria. Sheria. Pia wewe mwananchi, tabia zako ziko chini. Unapenda kulipa hongo na kutumia njia za uongo. Una mipango na hata watoto wa kando. Haujui hata majina yao. Kura yako uliuza maini figo, ukakulia hadi dini. Kisha wasema tukuthamini, na wewe hapo hauaminiki. Na wewe hapo haupangiki.
Wapi kidero when you need to slap somebody? Complain ufisadi kwani ulidhani t-shirt 50 bob leso siku ya campaign ilikuwa free? Ni 5 year loan investment utalipa kingia parliament. We are one, amani we are one. Na utumishi kwa wote, utu missing CCTV we were watching. Racial insecurity na job opportunity ni kama mti ya kibiriti. Side moja heavy. Usiniambie Kenya kuna umaskini, kwani hizi fat fingers zinaibia nane? Maskando inatuletea na survival. Media define leadership, na sura ukiaka front page na improve readership. Ambia wase wa Twitter wa hashtag hii ama hash reality doesn't make a good TT. Commission of inquiry wanakula commission bila kutupa ukweli. Ni kubaya baka kukiwa kuzuri, unashindwa nini mbaya? Machozi ya perpetrator ineza dilute damu ya victim ilimwagika. After all is said and done, all will be said, nothing will be done. You're not my tribe, but you're my blood type. Lakini It doesn't have to take tragedy to know that.
Sheria.
Of course, it's Monday and it's here, whether you like it or not. You know, I had some quotes about Monday. I want to share with you. Tell me which is the favorite. If Monday was a movie, it will definitely be a horror film. If Monday was a color, it will be gray. If Monday was food, it will be that stale bread that nobody wants. If Monday was a smell, it will be burnt toast. Yo, manze hatuwezi shikanisha hapa. So ageto manze tuna struggle hapo kidogo. Yeah, ni ngumu. Way, Monday's here, but you know, the only reason Monday is a beautiful day is because every evening you get to spend your 1 hour with us as you end your first day of the week. This is Sheria Dive with me, WaNjeri, right here on Power Radio. And of course, you know, on this show, we take a deep dive into legal matters. And today, my goodness, haven't we got a show for you? Because we're talking about governors and devolution. You know, devolution was brought about to bring services and resources closer to the people. But there are governors who have decided kazi yao ni kukula hiyo pesa ya umma. Today we're going to be talking about some of the governors that have been found guilty of cases of corruption and stealing money. And perhaps even just answer the question, how exactly do they do it? You're going to be talking about that. And of course, news coming in today, on Friday last week, was that another governor has now been found guilty of a case involving corruption. That's a former governor. That news is going to be right here. But of course, remember, I always want to hear your thoughts and your views. And of course, if you'd like to make any request, you can do that on our live chat section on YouTube and also be live on X. And remember, if you'd like to ask any questions directly to us, you can do that on the socials at Power Radio, at James K. WaNjeri. I'm going to be looking out for that so that we can listen in and just, respond to some of those questions. But for now, let's get some music and then when we start, tuanze na Baba Yao, manze. Remember Baba Yao? Baba Yao is a very interesting character, and I'm going to be telling you the history of his political life. Because, hey, Fadi manze kimemramba. Let's talk about accountability at the counties as we support and foster devolution in Kenya. Let's go.
Power Radio. Tune in and power up.
Lakini sijui mimi natakikana kufanya nini ili niwe kifaa kitu cha kukupendeza. Nataka sana tukung'aa, jo hata ukikaa enzini ukiniona utapata hamu ya kutabasamu. Ibada yangu yote iweka harufu tamu, yote ninayofanya, yote ninayowaza. Kweli Mungu wangu, wewe ndiye mfalme, siwezi kufahamu kiwango cha nguvu zako. Ni vipi mimi binadamu mwenye dhambi naweza kuja hapa kusimama mbele zako? Ni kufunga idadi ya mara ninazoomba au ya nyimbo ninazoimba? Ni matendo kutoa pesa nyingi kwa sadaka au kanisa ninazojenga? Si matendo menyokoa kwa neema, ndio maana moyo wangu unalia wewe ni mwema. Si matendo, ni maisha yangu yote, naomba nikuabudu kwa kweli siku zote. Usiku na mchana nitaimba na kupenda kwa moyo wangu wote, kucha kutwa na kupenda. Hey, maneno tupu si ibada yangu, ni moyo wangu wote, maisha yangu ni ibada yangu. Hey, trying to paint the picture of a perfect God through my imperfections is quite difficult when I'm on my own strength. But by His Spirit I can live my life exemplary, so that I can live the life that shows it to me ministry. See, just save people's all the good game, but our foul ways just bring shame to his name, we profane him. And yet we claim to evangelize, but we close our eyes as we try to lead the blind, and we lead them astray. They should know us from our fruits, and this will only work with Jesus as the root. Worship comes from the core, your innermost being, forgetting what you were before. So if you're on the floor and you need them when you're praying, I pray the living God that you mean what you're saying. I pray the living God that you practice what you preach. Be careful of your doctrine, it determines who you reach.
Usiku na mchana nitaimba na kupenda kwa moyo wangu wote, kucha kutwa na kupenda. Hey, maneno tupu si ibada yangu, ni moyo wangu wote, maisha yangu ni ibada yangu. Hey,
quant à Dieu, d'après sa volonté, je sais, il souhaite tout le monde serait sanctifié. Une sacrifice vivant pour être sensé, c'est la clé d'un bon rapport avec le Créateur. C'est pas la religion, les tout-puissants, il n'est pas loin, il est près de toi, il est intime. Si tu veux, si vous voudrez, il va manger avec toi. Ouvre la porte, il va entrer, sans équivoque, c'est la vérité. Jésus, if you truly worship him, then God will bless you. There's more to it, better love one another. If you love God, then you will love your brother. Hata jirani anayekufa hafai kudai. Sisi tukijua dawa ya uhai, why lie? We don't know how to worship, you reveal it. The only way to worship is in truth and in spirit. Usiku na mchana nitaimba na kupenda kwa moyo wangu wote, kucha kutwa na kupenda. Hey, maneno tupu si ibada yangu, ni moyo wangu wote, maisha yangu ni ibada yangu. Hey, usiku na mchana nitaimba na kupenda kwa moyo wangu wote, kucha kutwa na kupenda. Hey, maneno tupu si ibada yangu, ni moyo wangu wote, maisha yangu ni ibada yangu. Hey,
Yes, Mr. Riga right there. Tukupa utukufu. Na wacha nikwambie kitu moja, by the way. Coming soon to a church near you will be one gentleman by the name Daniel Waithaka. Who is Daniel Waithaka, you ask? Well, koroga yo chai manze. It's time. Now, there's a county called Nyandarua County. Na hiyo county inanga barabara, by the way. There are no roads in Nyandarua County, and you always see even when people are doing funerals, imagine mtu sanduku yako inabebwa na punda, inabebwa na mkokoteni. People leave their cars to walk up muddy roads to go and bury you. Nyandarua is just a funny county, and I think the people in power there, they need to seriously style up. Anyway, one Daniel Waithaka is elected as a governor of Nyandarua County. All right, now, while he had been elected, in 2014, he decides, you know what? We're going to award a contract to a company called Tahal Consulting Engineers Limited. All right? And now, this contract was for the development of a county water master plan and the design review of the Olkalau town sewerage system. However, this is where the problem comes in. Mr. Waithaka did this without following the law. He failed to comply with the Public Procurement and Disposal Act, all right? And he also failed to comply with the county procurement plan for the 2013-2014 financial year. Okay? There was no procurement plan. And the law requires, if you're going to have something like this happening, you need to have a procurement plan. So Mr. Waithaka naye akaamua, kwani iko nini? I'm just going to do what I want to do. Now, in 2018, then Director of Public Prosecutions, Mr. Nuruddin Haji, who at the moment is the DIG or the DG, he's a DG of the NIS, the National Intelligence Services, stated that Mr. Waithaka had flouted procurement laws by awarding the contract to Tahal Consulting Engineers Limited in December 2014 with disregard to the law. Now, this company that is associated with some Israelis was to design the Olkalau town sewerage system, and they were irregularly paid 50 million shillings, 470,513. Now, before this matter actually went to court, the EACC, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, had conducted investigations into accused persons and discovered that the former governor and 5 county officials engaged with 2 officials of this company called Tahal to develop a county water master plan and to design the Olkalau town sewerage system. But they did it without following the procurement laws and regulations. Now, can I shock you? The county paid 23,895,513 as an advance payment for what? For what, guys? For what? For consultations. What a consultation. 23 million shillings for consultations. Then, if that was not enough, subsequently, they paid the sum of 26,575,000, but no services were rendered. So essentially, Nyandarua County, a county with no roads. Guys, I'm telling you, this is for real. There are no roads in Nyandarua County. Even the highway has holes. I hope they have they've covered those potholes, because when you use the main highway for Nyandarua, oh my goodness, it's an obstacle course. That county surrendered 50 million shillings. But you know what? This story gets worse, because the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission later discovers that the 2 so-called directors, one is called Chen Yokanan Offer and Albert Atias, had actually been disowned by Tahal Company even before the payments were remitted. So the company came and said, these are not our people. These are not our directors. But did that stop Nyandarua County? No. Nyandarua County wakasema, ndani kabisa. 50 million shillings was then paid via RTGS to a bank account in Tel Aviv in Israel. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think happened to Chen Yokanan Offer and Albert Atias, the Israelis? Wakaingia mitini. The pair are said to have disappeared immediately after the payments were made. So now, money has been lost. The governor has been charged. Can we recover the money? Take a deep breath, guys, because according to Citizen Digital, efforts to track down the money proved futile, as Kenya and Israel do not have mutual legal assistance arrangements, and Israel's foreign policy also prohibits handing over of its citizens to be tried in foreign jurisdictions. Chen Yokanan and Albert Atias wamekula 50 million in Nyandarua County na wameingia mitini. And the reality is we may never actually get to prosecute those 2 gentlemen. However, the governor and the CEC, who was in charge of water, energy and environment, called Grace Wanjiru Gitonga, have been found guilty by the Nyahururu Anti-Corruption Court last week on Thursday. So what does this mean? Responsibility, accountability. We're going to be keeping our eyes peeled for this, because remember, they've been found guilty, but they now have to come back to court for mitigation and for sentencing. So we're waiting to actually see how this happens. Also, you note that the law allows the court to slap them with a fine of 2 times of the amount lost. So let's see what the court says. But as I said, Daniel Waithaka is coming to a church near you to say he's been persecuted and anatafutwa because of supporting sijui who and who and who. Meanwhile, Nyandarua guys are still unable to transport their potatoes. Shindwe. Let's go.
Power Radio. Tune in and power up.
Tumekuja kupati DJ hebu weka traki tukule happy halafu tufungue sakafu sababu inabamba inashika wingu la 9 inatufikisha ukiachilia mahewa manze DJ unatubeba kwenye dance floor, show us what unanoki, hauchoki kwenye dance floor, hautoki, unahisi hii muziki, unahisi nameless na mimi.
It's nameless, Eliza in conjunction with Ogopa. Tumekuja kuhakikisha kwamba speakers zinasikika. Hey yo mister, are you a member? Hey yo sister, wacha kulenga. Can't you see that I'm talking to you? Sasa weka mikono juu. Mr. Brother, wacha kuzuba, ukisleki hautapata.
Fungua macho, floni yako, cheza wimbo kama ni wako, cheza wimbo kama ni wako, sababu huu wimbo ni wako.
Iza hatucheki na watu,
Nameless hatucheki na watu,
ma MC hatucheki na watu,
Ogopa hatucheki na watu. Unahisi hizi flow za Afrika, unahisi kama una katika. Can you feel this funk till the rear? Can you feel this up in here? Boom boom ba, boom 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 ba, boom boom ba.
ukikatika na hingoma, just be cool as a cucumber.
Na tumekuja kupati, ambia wenzetu samahani, hawako nasi na tuko nao, basi wametupa mao, sababu inabamba inashika wingu la 9 inatufikisha ukiachilia mahewa manze DJ unatubeba. Boom boom ba, boom 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 ba, boom boom ba, boom ba boom ba. Boom boom ba, boom 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 ba, boom boom ba.
Ukikatika na hingoma, just be cool as a cucumber. Ukikatika na hingoma, just be cool as a cucumber.
Yes, that was one of those collabos for a lifetime. And thank God they did that collabo, manze. Martis, if you feel like collaborating with anyone, just do it. Because you never know. One day it will be part of the only memory we have of you. Because we are all candidates for this thing called death. But also, all politicians in Kenya should be candidates for this thing we call accountability. That's what the Constitution demands. Ladies and gentlemen, in 2013 to 2019, a scandal erupted in the county of Samburu. Unknown to many people, there was a scandal involving the former governor, Samburu Governor Moses Kasaine Lenol Kulal, and 10 others over a supply of fuel to the Samburu County. Okay? Now, the governor was found guilty of conflict of interest and unlawful acquisition of public property alongside 9 former senior officials in his government and 1 businessman. Okay? Now, who are these former senior officials? They include the county secretary, 6 chief officers of finance, environment, agriculture, transport, land, and gender, a deputy director of education, and the head of supply chain management, who are also found guilty of abuse of office. The Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission investigated a complaint of financial malfeasance, conflict of interest, and embezzlement of funds by senior officials of the Samburu County government in 2019. Now, those investigations revealed that the governor of Samburu County, with the help of some of his senior officials and a local businessman, traded with Samburu County through Oryx service station for fuel and oil lubricants from 2013-2014 to 2018-2019. Of course, the EACC does the investigation on the handover the file to the DPP, who then, upon review, concurs with EACC's recommendation to charge them with the various offenses. Now, the people who were taken to court were Moses Lenol Kulal, who is a former governor, Stephen Letinina, who was a former county secretary, former chief officers Daniel Lenolkirna, finance, Josephine Lenasalia, environment, Ruben Lemunyete, agriculture, Paul Lolmingani, transport, Bernard Lesurmat, land, Lilian Balanga, gender, former deputy director of education Linus Lenongenje, and former head of supply chain Geoffrey Kitawan, and Hesbon Dathi, a businessman, and they were arraigned in April 2019 before the Anti-Corruption Court in Milimani, where they pleaded not guilty to the charges. Fast forward on July 13, 2023, the court ruled that the prosecution had proved a prima facie case against 10 of the 11 accused persons on several counts and placed them on their defense under Section 211 of the Criminal Procedure Code. The court, however, dropped the conspiracy to commit an offense of corruption charges in count 1 against all the accused. It also acquitted the head of supply chain management, Mr. Kitawan, for lack of evidence. On 28 August 2024, Chief Magistrate Thomas Nzioki convicted the former governor on count 3 of conflict of interest. He also found him guilty alongside Hesbon Dathi on count 4 of unlawful acquisition of public property, being 83,345,255 that the county government of Samburu paid Oryx filling station for the supply of fuel and lubricants. He convicted the remaining 8 accused persons of abuse of office. The court then reconvened for sentencing. When we come back, I'm going to be talking to you about what that sentencing was. But ladies and gentlemen, Samburu County lost 83 million shillings. Let's just take a deep breath and think about that. Then when we come back, we continue.
Power Radio. Tune in and power up. Your kind of music, all day, all night, right here on your only station, Power Radio.
hapo kwa uwezo manzi. Kwanza kama Wakenya tunaomba Mungu atupatie uwezo ya kupunish these corrupt individuals who are stealing money from the counties. Now we're talking about Samburu County where 83 million shillings was. How much can 83 million do, man, for the people of Samburu County? And the issue here was that the governor was using a fuel station to supply fuel and lubricants to the county, but he had an interest in the fuel company. So there was a clear conflict of interest. You cannot do that. So on 29th of August 2024, the court said, hey, Mr. Governor, we found you guilty. I sentence you to 2 terms of 4 years each to be served consecutively if you fail to pay the fine. So what are the fines? He was fined 1 million shillings for the count of conflict of interest and a mandatory fine of 83,460,995 or 4 years imprisonment in default for the count of illegal acquisition of public property. His business partner in the Oryx filling station enterprise, Mr. Hesbon Jack Washira Ndathi, the 11th accused person in the proceedings, was equally slapped with a mandatory fine of 83,460,995 or 4 years imprisonment in default for the count of illegal acquisition of public property. So in essence, if these 2 people pay, then the county is going to be getting about 165 million back. Hey, even though enough. Now, what happens to the other 9 convicted persons, including the former Samburu County Secretary, the chief officers for finance, environment, agriculture, transport, land, gender, the former deputy director of education, and former head of supply chain? They were each fined 700,000 or 4 years imprisonment in default for the count of abuse of office. Now, the court also disqualified, okay? The court invoked section 64 of the SECA Act and disqualified all the convicted persons from being elected or appointed to public office for 10 years from the date of their conviction. Hey, munasikia venye kunaenda? According to Section 61 of the Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act, Section 64 rather, the court can disqualify all convicted persons from being elected or appointed to public service. So this means that for 10 years, these guys, they cannot come anywhere near public office. And guys, remember the names because we're going to be getting some drama down the road. Utasikia tu mseme po a job. And you're like, people not aware what has been happening. Now, for them, the court also alluded to having considered mitigating factors in sentencing them, including they had no prior criminal record, they were remorseful, and had cooperated throughout the protracted proceedings spanning 5 years. And they're also the breadwinners for their dependent families, and some were sickly with chronic diseases. This is just to remind you guys, if you're given a job at the county, whether as a CEC or as staff, if you're helping these governors steal money, when they're held accountable, you'll be there together with them. Please, 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 for the sake of your future, for the sake of your children, do not engage in works of corruption. It doesn't matter what the governor tells you about protecting you and anything like that. It will be tough on you and you will be alone in the stand. These guys are now having to pay 700,000 or they go to jail for 4 years. Some of them are sick. Where will they get the money? It starts with you and with me. Next up, Mr. Fadi. And Fadi's story is a story that begins with the death of one Crispin Bai. Keep it right here. When we come back, we're talking about holding county governors accountable for their actions and for the theft of public resources. Let's do this.
From sunrise to sunset, all day and night. Power Radio. Power Radio. Tune in and power up.
Now namwangaza at the end of the road. Though the walk is tougher, sijafa moyo. Natamani sana future, and so I'm on the go. I'm never gonna give up. I got to keep hope alive. Eyes on the prize, las magnifique. And with God by my side, las manishinde. Yeah. Whoa.
fike, yeah. Lazima nishinde. Kama soja, tunasonga, roho juu, guide us Papa. Kama soja, tunasonga, roho juu, guide us Papa. A lot of obstacles along the way. I pray to the Father, take them away, and bring on a big smile upon my face. Cause I've got a feeling I'll make it someday. Eyes on the prize, las magnifique. And with God by my side, las manishinde. Yeah. Las magnifique, yeah. Lazima nishinde. Kama soja, tunasonga, roho juu, guide us Papa. Kama soja, tunasonga, roho juu, guide us Papa. Sometimes the journey is cut short along the way, and it's not easy to start all over again. I know the journey is not easy, sometimes the road gets bumpy. Either way we shall make it, all we've got to do is I'm a soldier. Tunasonga, roho juu, guide us Papa. I'm a soldier, tunasonga, roho juu, guide us Papa. I'm a soldier, tunasonga, roho juu, guide us Papa. I'm a soldier, tunasonga, roho juu, guide us Papa. Yeah. I miss the Vida Spice. Yeah. Lazima nishinde.
Nisijione mkamilifu kwa nguvu zangu, nitaweza peke yangu. Nisiamini hekima yangu, juhudi zangu, nikutazamie Mungu. Watakaonisikia wakinishangilia, niwaelekeze kwako. Watakaonifuata nikikufuata, tuje kwako. Na chochote kile kitaenda sawa, sio mimi wewe, ujulikane. Na popote pale itaenda Baba, sio mimi wewe, ujulikane. Matendo yangu natamani wewe ujulikane, kama vile maji ufunikavyo bahari. Natamani wewe ujulikane, uokoe waliofungwa, ponye waliozidiwa, uinue waliolemewa. Usichokiweza Baba, chochote kile kitaenda sawa, sio mimi wewe, ujulikane. Na popote pale itaenda
Yeah, Julikane, that's Carrera. Carrera or yes, that's Carrera. And I hope she's back from the UK. I know she's been in the UK doing some studies. Please check her out. She has some fantastic music. And I think we can actually play her song with Ben Psycho. That's going to be coming up next. Now, ladies and gentlemen, shortly after midday on Sunday, September 14, 2003, a lecturer at the University of Nairobi, Dr. Crispin Odhiambo Mbai, he was in the living room of his house reading the day's newspapers. Suddenly, two strangers burst into his house. They waved greetings to him at the door. Then one of them shouted, "We have been sent to kill you." Okay? So the law professor, and he wasn't even a law professor, he was actually teaching political science. He rose up in a war cry, grabbed a stool next to him and hurled it at them, but too late, as one of the killers already had his finger on the trigger and fired. The professor was rushed to hospital where he succumbed to his wounds. This is as reported by the Standard newspaper of that date of September 14th, 2003. Of course, he had just been elected as the member of parliament. And that meant that with his death, of course, he would have to be replaced. The person who ended up replacing him as a member of parliament was none other than one Mr. Fadi. Believe it or not. Anyway, Fadi goes on then to be a member of parliament in Kabete. Then kidogo kidogo, he ends up being a member of parliament. He ends up being the governor for Kiambu County. All right. Now, what happens in Kiambu County? Waitish, as others may know him, Mr. Ferdinand Ndongo Waitito. Let me just make sure I'm not getting here. Ferdinand Ndongo Waitito and his wife Susan Wangare Ndongo formed two companies. Okay? These two companies were in the center of what can only be termed as a very, very corrupt plan. Now, on 12th of February 2025, this is last month, Waitito and his wife were actually found guilty of various charges in a 588 million road tender graft case. Now, according to the report by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, they commenced an investigation pursuant to a complaint received in March 2017 that the county government of Kiambu had irregularly awarded Testimony Enterprises Limited a contract for upgrading various gravel roads to bituminous in Thika, Limuru, Gatundu North, Juja, and Ruiru sub-counties at a contract sum of 588 million in the financial year 2017-2018. So, of course, the EACC carries out the investigations, and when they completed, they submit the files over to the Director of Public Prosecutions, who then reviews the files and agrees, and they proceed to charge. They were arraigned in court on July 19, 2021, on the charges of fraud, conflict of interest, dealing in suspicious property, money laundering, and abuse of office. In September 2023, the court found that Mr. Ferdinand Waitito had a case to answer and put him together with his wife, a former chief officer in his government, his company, Saika 2 Estate Developers Limited, the contracting company, Testimony Enterprises Limited, and its two directors on their defense. So what does it mean when the court says you have a case to answer? It means that based on what they have heard from the prosecutor, unafaa ujitete. It's more likely than not that what the prosecutor is saying is true. So there is a basis for the court to ask you to enter your defense. Anyway, in February 2025, Chief Magistrate Honorable Thomas Nzioki of the Anti-Corruption Court in Milimani convicted Mr. Waitito on count 1 for conflict of interest. He and his company, Saika 2 Estate Developers, were found guilty in counts 2 and 3 for dealing with suspect property. The court found that Mr. Waitito illegally obtained an indirect personal interest in the amount of 25,624,500 from Testimony Enterprises Limited, who was a contractor to the Kiambu County government that had been irregularly awarded the road tender. So what happened here? The company known as Testimony Enterprises Limited is given a tender by Kiambu County government. Once they receive that money, it leaves the accounts of Testimony directly to Mr. Waititu. So, this money was channeled through his company and business name while he was serving as governor. He was also convicted alongside his wife, and his wife was trading as Bienvenue Delta Hotel, and it was on a third count of receiving $7,214,000 from Testimony Enterprises Limited with the knowledge that the money was acquired from the Kiambu County government through corrupt conduct. Unaona venye kunaenda hapa? A contractor is given a contract, then they make payments to the governor and to the governor's wife. That, of course, raises questions. And the payments they are making, it comes directly from the money they've received from the county. Now, another gentleman, Luka Waihenya, was convicted in count 5 for abuse of office. And indeed, the court agreed with the prosecution that Mr. Waihenya, who was the chief officer for roads, transport, public works, and utilities, improperly awarded a contract worth 588,198,328 shillings to Testimony Enterprises Limited, an irregularly procured firm for upgrading various roads in the county to bituminous standards. At the same time, Charles Chege and his spouse Beth Wangeshi and their company Testimony Enterprises Limited were found guilty in count 7, 8, and 9 for engaging in fraudulent practice and fraudulent acquisition of public property. The court found the two directors of Testimony Enterprises Limited Incorporated forged degree certificates for technical staff in a bid submitted concerning the road tender. Can you imagine that? When they were asked to submit documents for the award of the tender, they forged degree certificates. They also fraudulently received 147,274,055 shillings from the county government of Kiambu for the tender. $500 million, guys. $500 million, Kiambu County. What could that money do? We're talking about accountability when it comes to devolution. What are the things that need to be done? So, Mr. Waititu and his wife are found guilty. So, what is the sentence of the court? We'll be right back as I give you the lowdown on what the court actually ordered in that case of Mr. Waititu. What are your views? Do you feel like enough is being done to curb corruption in the counties? Because it makes no sense for us to fight for devolution only for it to be, you're taking corruption to the grassroots. Yet we know that this money is needed in those spaces where it can actually make a difference in people's lives. This is Sheria Dive. As always, it's a pleasure to have you coming along with us for the ride. Monday it is, and Monday has never been better. Let's go.
From sunrise to sunset, all day and night. Power Radio.
Bwana weni dereva, endesha maisha yangu, chukua na usukani, Bwana tawala.
Bwana weni mchungaji, ongoza mwana wako, nishikilie mkono, Bwana tawala.
Wewe ni amani ya moyo wangu, chaguo la moyo wangu. Wewe ni
Kila kitu changu,
wewe ni amani ya moyo wangu, chaguo la moyo wangu. Wewe ni
kila kitu changu.
Yes, Carrera and Mr. Ben Psycho. Fantastic, fantastic song. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what happened in that Waititu matter? The court sentenced Mr. Waititu following his conviction, and he was sentenced to 12 years in prison or a fine of 52,749,000, and this is double the amount that he's accused of having embezzled. Okay, so either he pays 52 million or he spends 12 years in jail. His wife, Susan Wangari Ndongo, was sentenced to 1 year imprisonment or a fine of $500,000 for dealing with suspect property. The chief officer for roads, Mr. Luka Wahinya, was sentenced to 7 years imprisonment or 21 million for abuse of office. Charles Chege, the director of Testimony Enterprises Limited, which had been irregularly procured in the tender, was sentenced to 11 years or a fine of 297,048,110 shillings, and his spouse and co-director Beth Wangeshi to 3 years imprisonment or a fine of 1.4 million for engaging in fraudulent practices and fraudulent acquisition of property. The court also disqualified all of them from holding public office, elective or appointive, for 10 years in accordance with Section 64 of the ACECA, Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act. Okay? The EACC says that Governor Waititu's conviction marks a significant milestone in the fight against corruption. It comes barely a year after former Samburu County Governor Moses Kesaine Lenol Kulal was convicted for corruption offences related to conflict of interest. Ladies and gentlemen, we're almost done with this show, and let me tell you something as we wrap it up. You notice the story you hear is that the headline talks about Waititu, but the real story is that he's not the only one who gets punished for his actions. Those of you who are serving in county governments in various divisions or in various stations in the county, do not help these people steal money, because you are also going to be held liable for the things that they do. The chief officer for the one who was actually awarding this contract, and I don't know whether he had been asked to, Mr. Charles Chege, Mr. Luka Wahinya is on, the chief officer for roads, he's been told to pay 21 million shillings or he faces 7 years imprisonment. Where are you going to get 21 million shillings? That decision can ruin your life completely. He can never ever be appointed to any government position for 10 years. Hey, I know some of these cases are in court. We wait to see the appeals out of those cases. But this tells you that when it comes to accountability, it's never late. Remember as well that when it comes to these criminal charges, there's no limitation of actions. One day, one time, we will come for you. We will come for you. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all from me right here on Sheria Dive. Remember, you and I need to play our role in our different spaces wherever we are to ensure that devolution works for everybody, because devolution is a constitution's gift to Kenyans for us to be in charge of our development and for us to be involved in how we are led and how we are governed as a people. Because at the end of the day, all power resides in the people and shall only be exercised in accordance with the Constitution. So, ladies and gentlemen, have a fantastic rest of the week. We'll see you back here on Thursday between 5 and 7 p.m. Looking forward to that. And of course, God bless you. Have a lovely week. Let's go.
Power Radio. Tune in and power up.
Mama my. It's another brand new Anta Humboys production. For you, when you, for you, when you, yeah, you. We don't know what got you. Listen to this. Everybody, I'm getting addicted to you. Can't get enough, I need more and more of you. Can't explain what I feel when I'm with you. You're the miracle. If I'm winning or losing, I will still be strong. Cause I know on whose side I'm leaning on. That might be hot, but I'm holding on.
try and make me change my mind from the truth. Temptation him a bring on my way to make sure I'm in life that me always go astray. But attention to him me no pain, because in my life you are promised to stay. Lord, give me the strength to fast and then pray. Never live my life every day, show me the way. On your word and your promises now me meditate. And anywhere you say me love me, no hesitate. Lord, give me the strength to fast and then pray. Never live my life every day, show me the way. On your word and your promises now me meditate. We don't see it, and you better be ashamed.
I live for you. Every song that I sing is for you, and every move that you make is from you. And I believe that your blessings are true. I live for you. Every song that I sing is for you, and every move that you make is from you. And I believe that your blessings are true. Yeah.
Yes, me know that in a me heart, Lord. I am not in every family gets support. Yet imagine my love that you in. Yeah, my everything you make my heart to sing. And singing that the spirit, I'm just an empty tin. Money that can talk it out, my money full of work it out. But you are satisfied my heart. With your love you make me feel high. You alone always glorify. You amaze me with the things you do to me. And when I'm in need, there you are for me. Now I'm dedicating everything to you. My money, my talent and ability to you.
I live for you. Every song that I sing is for you, and every move that you make is from you. And I believe that your blessings are true.
Nipendai kama wewe Jesus sawa ingewenda make the devil fear we us anafanya bidii ili niende hell, lakini katika jina lako mipango zake zitafeli. Usto jote ikipaza brass that it could the master of my heart, all the loving and gentle king. Bila wewe mimi did nothing. Mayani grease me with grease you I find power peace throw me plus you come and done mowing. Did I swear and jump and care I could figure heaven. My joy you've never lost a fight. Had beats and meditate the
I live for you. Every song that I sing is for you, and every move that you make is from you. And I believe that your blessings are true. I live for you. Every song that I sing is for you, and every move that you make is from you. And I believe that your blessings are true. I live for you. Lord, it's you that I live for. It's you that I live for. It's you that I think for. My God. It's you, Lord. It's you, Lord. You alone I wanna live for. You alone I wanna sing for. You alone.
Power Radio. Tune in and power up.